Okay, folks, here we go again. A lot of people have been talking to me about hobbling for quite a while, and when they first talked to me about it, I didn't want to say nothing because it can turn into a hell of a wreck. But I think we've been together long enough now that I can share with you how I do it, and that's the only acceptable way for me to personally get a horse broke to hobbles. And please understand that there's two types of hobbling. There's standing, which is what I do, and there's grazing, which is like on an outfit when you go camping. And that I do the deal where standing because a bridle horse has to stand hobbled. So I'm going to show you the criteria, and then that's the standard of when I know it's time that I can put hobbles on a horse. So Chinaco, he's getting onto this deal, you know, and he's not real bothered. But he has a temper. So I have to know that. And that's there again. That's why I don't ride him. He's still got some things going through his brain he's getting sorted out. And what this amounts to is you have to be able to lead a horse by the front foot in the same eye, as far as I'm concerned, before you can put hobbles on. Now in this situation, I'm going to hook my halter to my sawbuck because in case things fall apart, I can get a hold of it. Now it's plenty loose. It's not like I'm tying his head up or anything. Just get a rope on the ankle, and you get out in front of him and you lead him around. Okay, this is kind of a no-brainer. Anybody can do this. But the criteria for me is that you have to be able to be in the eye, the same eye as the foot you have roped. And that's where it changes for a horse. And if they'll walk along beside you, and you can make a left turn and they'll stay with you, this is what has to happen. For me, if they don't do that, then they're not ready to hobble. It's that simple. Now, needless to say, you don't just go out and, if you've never roped your horse, and you got a lot of work to do. But you've all seen me rope horses now for quite a while, so this is the end result. Both eyes lead the horse. One eye, lead the horse. Now you notice you have to stay in the one eye. This is not eligible for hobbling. This is eligible for hobbling. If you have a left eye and a left front foot, and the horse will walk with you, that means to me they've let down that side of their body. They're willing to go right along with you. If you stand out in front of them, they got both eyes on you, so it's not hard for them to trust you and not hard for them to come with you. So now, here in this position, they have to let down that right front foot to walk with you. That's why it has to be one eye. Now here's 3 sets of hobbles. These are a flat, used to be somebody's split reins. And if you know how to trade, you can end up with a lot of gear. The person you're trading doesn't think it's what it's going to be, but this is what it turns out. And I tied an extra knot in this end because that's the weight part for throwing it around the leg. Which, I hate to get particular, but this is the line between cool and uncool. This is a piece of cotton rope. That's a hobble. This one's about 6 feet long. I recommend you start off with a 7-footer. This is a pair of regular leather hobbles. 2 pieces of leather, reinforced, high end. I got them free in a box out of a junk sale. So, as you can tell, it's not like you got to have the special deal to make this work. So when you first hobble a horse, you don't use leather hobbles. Now when you first hobble a horse, the very first time, have your lead rope laying down where you're going to be working. Now remember, I've roped their feet. I've roped their feet a lot. Because a lot of people get spooked when you put the hobbles above the ankles, you're going to tear the tendons up. Well, I have never in my career torn a tendon up on a horse. It's because I rope them a lot before I put this on. And remember, I'm showing you what I do. There's throwing the end around and catching it. Get them even. Twist them until the twist touches the other bone. Left over right, slip knot. Now, you hold on to the rope, not pony club style, just like this. If the colt gets scared, you want to be able to bend it real quick and stop it so it doesn't learn to run off at the hobbles. Now, to test the hobbles, you've got to put some pressure on the horse and get him off balance so his foot will move. There, you see that? He moved his foot and then he put it back down and he gave to the pressure. Now you already know he's been hobbled before, but I'm just showing you how it's done. Well, that's how long I hobble him for the first time. And when I start a colt, I hobble him the day I start him, but I never, ever, ever saddle him and tighten the cinch with the hobbles on. That is really not smart, because now you're going to scare the horse to death. So if you're saddling a colt for the first time, you can put the hobbles on, do what I did, walk in a circle, so they know their feet can move. Now you walk up and hobble them again with your rope where it's supposed to be. There's a clear shot for fingernail on the cannon bone is what I do. Square knot or slip knot, either one. If you're just schooling a colt, I usually do that. Slip knot after the first knot. Okay, now you can saddle your colt. As soon as you get everything ironed out and you reach under and get the cinch, then you reach down and undo the hobbles. That way if he gets scared, you're not going to betray him. So over time, he'll get to where when you put the hobbles on, in the horse's mind, they're clocking out. Now if you work with me on that thought, It can take up to a year for a horse to do that. But what happens is after they figure it out, you put the hobbles on, they go, whew. Because in their brain, they figured out that means they're off. They don't have to do anything. So that's my hobbling story. So obviously, if you get old Dobbin and just run out there and put a rope around its ankle and it's never been roped, you're going to get smacked. So you have to rope them and rope them and rope them, which you've seen me do. And get them good about it. Then you can hobble them. Now I've got a little Code of the West deal I got to share with you. And the thing I'm going to tell you today about working on an outfit, it doesn't have to be a big outfit. It can be a cow farmer. But the point is, one of the rules, the laws, the must-dos, is you never touch another man's outfit. Now that's something I've noticed has gone by the wayside, and it's too bad because it should be brought back, and I mean to the letter. And what it means is that whatever belongs to somebody, it's not yours to touch. I'm talking about the wife, the pickup, the dog, the horse, saddle, bridle, brush, blankets, everything. Everything that that person owns is of nobody's business to touch. Now the biggest problem I've seen in the last few years is everybody thinks that whenever you see a dog, you're supposed to talk like a little baby and go up and pet it. Well, I'll guarantee you that's dead wrong. And I know that's shocking to some of you, but let me explain to you why it's dead wrong. What cowboys do is they get their good stock dogs or their companions, and they want them to be hooked onto them only, so that when they're out and they give it a command, the dog listens to that human only. They're not looking at another human wagging its tail because they think they might get petted. And the big reason for me is that I don't want anybody touching my dog, because if my dog's on my truck and somebody comes up to touch him, he's going to get bit, and that's what I want. And you can do whatever you want about it, but the fact is, you leave somebody's dog alone. I've watched people in parking lots walk right up and start petting a dog, and that is, to me, is absolutely wrong. Okay, I'll let that go. But that's the deal of the day, that anything that belongs to somebody, don't touch it. You ask permission. Can I see your bit? And the cowboy will go, sure. Is it for trade? No. Can I look at your rigging? Yes. You ask. It's polite. Cowboys don't own that much, so don't be rude and be crawling all over their gear. Now, I gave a little speech about the water on the Navajo Res a while back, and I got to tell you, I'm just really thrilled that a young man named Marvin James contacted me and said he's on it. And I cannot tell you how great that makes me feel, because I'm not Billy Graham. I'm not going to go on and on about this water deal. But since he's picking up the ball, all he needs is 999 more of his friends to do the exact same thing, get on them computers, and start a movement. Now, I mean, this is the perfect time. It's this generation. It's the time of the movement. Now, hell, Marvin could be, I don't know how old he is. Doesn't matter. The point is, he's got the idea and he's getting it figured out. And the people on the res, I'd like you to know that since I talked about that, I've had a lot of replies. And it's non-native people all over the United States. And they're with you. You were wronged. A lot of them say, I didn't know that. And so you've got a backing out there, but you've got to make yourself known. You've got to get in the public eye and let them know. We're worldwide. And nowadays, that's a no-brainer to get worldwide, evidently. So good luck with it, and it's time to make a stand. Now, bear in mind, don't make the stand like Custer did. That's not the kind of stand I'm talking about. But it's time for you folks to stand up and get what's yours. It's your water. Make sure you get it. Invite, what's that golfer's name? invite Tiger Woods over to play some res golf. I'll bet you he'd absolutely love it. Those are the kind of people that will back you up. Once they understand it, he probably doesn't even know about your lack of water deal. Anyway, good luck with it. And I'll be looking forward to see you on the news. Now, there's a lot of ex-Marines that watch the YouTube and let me know that they're ex-Marines. Well, that's wonderful. Okay. I happen to have a book, and this is the Marines of the Margarita. Now, what that means is that this is a history book of Camp Pendleton. Who would have thought? And of course, I got it because of the 2 chapters on when it was a land grant. But the rest of the entire book talks about how in 1941 it was turned into Camp Pendleton, and all the history of all the divisions and generals. And I mean, I know you guys of my era or age would really get a kick out of this book. And a little trivia is, for those of you that were at Camp Pendleton, some of you might have been at 29 Palms, which is in the desert. And in this book, it says that they marched from 29 Palms to Camp Pendleton. So there you go. Anyway, if you want this book, what's going to happen is you get a hold of Deb and she'll get your address and mail it to you. And then she'll get a hold of you another time and say, this is where you need to mail it next. So we can just mail it around the country to the Marines that want to read this book. And you'll get a kick out of it because it's really good and it covers a lot of history. So there you go. Get a hold of Deb and she'll get it mailed to you. We'll do share a book. All right. Well, I don't know what else to tell you except have fun and enjoy the hobbling deal. I know everybody says I make it look easy. Well, don't make it easy. I just take my time. So good luck and adios.